So, as a continuation, we are going to be working with word problems. Word problems can be those ones which can lead us to linear equations from a given word problem. You can obtain linear equation. You can even obtain a quadratic equation. From there, for linear equation, it can be a direct, the normal that you are used to, or it can be simultaneous. So this is the condition of word problems. They can lead to any of the equations, then you can solve. So in order for you to answer these questions under word problems, understand the statement that you're given, work out an equation from there. So what I can just advise you guys is that do as many questions as for this section. Try to attempt a lot of questions, right? Don't think that might, like, it's a basic understanding, just like the question that we're given here. I want us to understand what we are given in general. The question that we are given is that there were 600 spectators at a tennis match. We have got 600 as a total of what? Spectators that were at a tennis match. If we check this properly, it is representing a total of everything, like what we're given there. They were, all of them combined together, they were 600. All right. Then what is happening here? They are now separating from that. Of these, what? Of these, what? 600, from the 600 that you were given, the total from that 600. Four of these, 144 were children. They are now separating from the total. The total is consisting of what? Children. They're in this. And there were twice as many men as what? Women. Meaning to say, in this total, we also have men, women. So this is what we have. In this total, we have got what? Children. We have got what? Children. We have got men. And we have got what? Women. In the given total. So the question here is determine how many women were there. There is a total of all. So meaning to say, this is a simple equation that you are supposed to add children plus men. Like let's say C for children, then M for men, W for what? For women. I just want you to see something. It was supposed to be like this. Children plus men plus women is supposed to give us a total of 600. This is something like what you're given. But you must know the number of children, the number of men, the number of what? Of women. This is a basic understanding or a basic view of how it is like. All right. Don't take this statement into consideration, but I just want you to understand what is happening. But don't take this into consideration. All right. So if you understand it was going to be like this, then you must take out the number of children. How many are they? They are given as 144. So C representing children is given 144. But there were twice as many men as what? Women. There were twice. Meaning to say, if we have got for women, let's say there were 20. They are saying there were twice as many men. Twice is on the men. It's going to be twice means 2 times what you are given. So if they were 20 here, it was going to be 2 times 20. All right? So let's say there were 40 here. It was going to be 2 times 40. If they were 50, 2 times 50 again. So we do not know how many women do we have. As we can see that men depends on women from what we're given because they are referred from women. So we can say let the number of women be X. What about the number of men? It is going to be 2 times X. Men are referred from women. All right. So we do not know how many women are there. So we can say let women, which is our W, be represented by X. So women are represented by X. So therefore, the number of men is going to be given as what? If women are given as X, what about the number of men? 2 times X, which is what? 2X. This is where the equation part plays a role, as we have got an unknown to be calculated or to be determined. And our unknown is X, representing the number of women. This is our case, representing the number of women. So by calculating X, you are calculating the number of women. That is it. Determine how many women were there. Women represented by what? X. So simply solve for X. How can you solve for X? You must put an equation. Children plus, how many children? 144 plus men. How many men do we have? 2X. Plus women, how many are they? X. It must give us what? 600. You have formed an equation. As we can see, from the equation formed, you check what type of an equation. That's a linear equation. The highest the highest exponent power there that we have is what? Is 1. The highest degree is 1. So you know our linear equations, collecting of like terms, of which we already have the like terms on the left hand side of our equation. So simply add, simplify that. This is 1x. So it was going to be 144. 2 plus 1, that is what? 3x. So that is equal to 600. We can solve for x. Simply eliminate this, get rid of that one, subtract. That is going to give us what? 3x, positive 3x. So 3x is equal to what? 600 minus 144. It was going to give us 456. You can as well use your calculator here. 600 minus 144. So this is 456. Okay, divide by 3 here so that you can obtain the value of what? The value of x. So x is equal to what? Simply take this one, divide by what? By 3. So this is 152. So remember, x was not part of our equation, was not part of what we were given. We had to introduce let. It was something that was introduced, representing what? Women. And that's exactly what we want. So meaning to say, by solving x, we are solving the number of women. So therefore, there were what? there were 152 women, because you are calculating the value of x. All right. So let's say the question was the number of men. How many men? If it was for men, you know that men is what is 2x. So you're simply going to multiply 2 times x. Remember, your x is what? 152. So you multiply there. That is the condition. All right. So in our case, it was how many women? Just like that. So this is how you form equations. From the statement that you're given, form an equation. There is gonna be, it's going to lead you to an equation one way or the other. It will lead you to an equation. But in our case, this one, it gave us what? A linear equation. It was a linear equation. The highest degree is 1. Okay, it can be like that. No problem. Let us check this one. Here we are given that tickets to DJ Spoo concert. All right. So DJ Spoo is having what? A concert. They cost 200 Rand and 300 Rand. Okay. Take note. This is the cost of a ticket. So there are two different types. It's okay, guys, like you are going to a show or you're going to any activity. Remember, there is also the VIP. So this maybe it is for the ordinary, and this is for the VIP. We do not know, but there are two different tickets. So it is two types that we see there. There are two types or two different tickets, two types of tickets. All right, maybe the one for ordinary, the other one for the VIP. So take note, the tickets are given two types. So there is a cost of 200 and 300. So what we are saying here is the cost of another type. So let's have the types now because we do not know. So let's call the one X. So one type is going to be X. Another one is going to be Y. So the types of tickets, let be X and what? X and Y, because there are two. So we have got two unknown. This for ordinary, this for VIP. Two, they are different types of tickets. So they are saying a total of 250 tickets were sold. So here it is on the tickets that were sold, 250. The two types that we have. Then, so there is a total here. Let me indicate. This is the first total for the number of tickets. Then we move on. The total, there's a total again, but for amount taken for the show. The total amount. Determine how many of each ticket were sold. How many? So we want to know how many X tickets, because these are two types, X and Y. So how many X tickets? How many Y tickets? How many of each ticket were sold? They are two different, remember. That is why they are asking how many of each. Determine. So we have got two things to consider. The cost, which gave us a total, the tickets, which gave us a total how many were sold. So that's two things to be considered there. Total of tickets. Let's start with that one. Total of what? Of tickets. How many? 250 were sold. Type X and type Y combined together. We do not know how many of type X are there. There are 20, there are 30, but all combined to type Y, there were 250 which were sold. This is from the total number of tickets. It is from the type of tickets. Now, the tickets that are being sold, it's X and Y. So type X and type Y combined gave us what? 250. So in our actual sense, the type X corresponds to the 200. This is the type. We can say simply the 200 and the 300 so that you do not get confused there. But here we are referring in terms of the type to say the X of the 200 Rand ticket, there are X of them of the type. 200. But how X now? 300 as X. How many? 250 were sold. If you take it that way, it's going to be easier to understand. Each type combined together. Then we have the amount, the total in terms of the amount taken was 55,000. The total, what does it mean? Remember, we are saying there is a cost of 200 Rand a ticket. A ticket costs 200 for X tickets that are there. For X tickets that are there. So in this case, we are simply saying these 200 times X will give us the total. Remember X, that type, how many are they? We do not know. So if we take that X, multiply to 200, it is now the total now to 200 times. How many X do we have? Maybe X is equal to 5 or X is equal to 7. We have a total amount that is what is happening in that case. So 200X, we are now total here there, 200X plus what? The Y that we are having for each being sold at what? 300 each. So 300 times Y there is the total. Must give us all combined X and Y that we have as our tickets. But this is the cost now. It must sum up to what? 55,000. This is what we have. So we can see that from the total of tickets, we obtained an equation in X and Y, two unknowns. From the total amount which was taken, we formed an equation in X and Y. Two equations were formed, simultaneous equations. We are back to our simultaneous linear equations where you can solve. Here they want us to determine how many of each ticket were sold. So by solving for X, because we said let X represent what? The 200 Rand ticket. So it will be, we are solving for the 200 Rand ticket. 300 for the 300 Rand ticket represented by what? By Y there. So we must solve for both because it is what? It is each. So let us solve for x and y. In that case, we need to solve for x and y. So it is up to you. Are you going to use elimination method? Are you going to use substitution method? It is in your hands when it is like this. All right, so I'm going to use the substitution method here. All right, using substitution method, and I'm going to use it from equation 1. I'm going to make from equation 1, I'm going to make x the subject. All right, I'm going to make x the subject from equation 1. This is for me. You choose what you want, guys. All right, so x is equal to 250. Take the y, there is going to be a negative, so that's minus y. So we have formed an equation which is going to be equation 3. Substitute equation 3 in 2. All right, so that is in 2. So we're going to substitute 3 in what? In 2. So that is in place of x in equation 2. This is 200 times x, and x is given as what? As this. So you substitute 250 minus y, representing our x value. This is what represents our x, remember? So you substitute that in place of x in equation what? In equation 2. So the rest remains as it is, plus 300y is equal to what? 55,000. Just like that. So with this equation, we can see that we have only y as the unknown. Solve for y. How can we solve for y? All right. There are brackets, expand, distribute, multiply this. That's 200 times 250. If you were to multiply, that was going to give us 50,000. So 50,000, 200 times negative, that's negative 200y there. This is going to remain as it is. All right, so that is equal to 55,000. So this is it, guys. In order for you to solve, you can collect the like terms, of which we have got the part of y here. Minus 200 plus 300 is going to be 100. Is that so? That is 100. So 50,000 plus 100y there. All right, is equal to 55,000. I can get rid of the 50,000. Simply subtract 50,000 here. Subtract 50,000. This was going to cancel. So meaning to say 100y is equal to what? Subtracting here, we're going to have 5,000. 55 minus 50 is what? 5,000. Okay. So 100y is equal to what? 5,000. So divide by 100. That is obtaining the value of y, which is what? Which is 50. So y there represents, that is equal to 50. So we have got 50 of the y tickets, 50 of these ones. Y is for what? For 300 rand ticket. So they are 50 300 rand ticket. All right. So that is separating in that manner. With the value of y that we have calculated, you can substitute in any one of the given equations. All right, so I'm going to use equation 3 as equation 3 already. X is the subject here, so I'm just going to utilize that one to our advantage. In equation 3, so x is equal to 250 minus y. Remember, y is equal to what? To 50. y is equal to 50. So meaning to say x is going to give us what? X is going to give us 200. All right. So x is 200. Y here is equal to what? Y is equal to 50. So remember, these are the types of tickets that we are having to say x 200 of them. I mean X representing the 200 Rand tickets. So that is their 50. Yeah, let me put it this way. So we are saying X is what? 200, sorry. X is 200. So X is for the 200 Rand ticket. So therefore, there are 200 for X. There are 200 of the what? Of the 200 Rand ticket. All right, of the 200 Rand tickets. So this is the idea now of what we have that were what? That were sold. So remember, yes, about the ones that were being what? That were sold. All right, and Y representing the 300 Rand ticket. All right, so how many? Y is equal to what? 50. So meaning to say, and we have got 50, or let me just write it, and there are 50. We said Y is equal to 50. So there are 50 of the what? 300 Rand. Of the 300 Rand tickets. So this is the idea that were sold. So this is the idea of answering this question. So if let's say you chose that X represents 300 Rand ticket, Y represents 200 Rand ticket, it is in your hands again. As long you understand what X represents and what Y represents, you can choose whatever that you want. It will be in your hands. But as you see, as you can see, it led us to the simultaneous equations. Let us consider another question, which is given that the length of a rectangular field, all right, so we have got a rectangular field like this. So they are saying the length is 3 meters more than its breadth. Length and what? And breadth. Length and width, or you can just use B. Length is 3 meters more. So let's say the breadth is 7 meters. What was going to be the length if it is 3 meters more than? It means 3 plus. It's going to be 10 meters. If the breadth is 10 meters, it means it was going to be 3 plus 10, 13 meters. So the length depends on the breadth. So what if the breadth is x? It means the length is going to be 3 plus x. It depends with the breadth that you're given, the width. So we can let that be x, so that the length will be given as what? 3 plus x, because we do not know what is the breadth. So we can let the breadth be x. So therefore, the length is going to be 3 plus x. 3 more you add. It's not 3 times, it's 3 more. So 3 more, you just add 3. So where you see the length, it is 3 plus x. Where you see the breadth, it is what? It is x. This is what it simply means. So here we are told that the area of the field, which is our rectangular field, its area is 70 square meters. It's a numerical value that you're given. Calculate the length of the field. What is the length? You do not know. But take note, the length is equal to 3 plus x. So we are not given any equation so far that we can use. But we can form one. We can form an equation from what you're given. Also, there is a numerical value for the area, and we do understand that this area is length times breadth, length times width. So numerically, yes, it is given, but we can form it algebraically from what you're given, the length being 3 plus x times the breadth being x. We can form an expression to represent that area. Expand by the bracket. 3 x multiplies 3, that is 3x. X times x, that is x squared. We have an expression for the area. But before, they gave us a numerical value for the same area. So what does it tell you? What does this statement tell? The statement on its own simply tells that these two are equivalent to each other. The algebraic expression for the area, which is, all right, you can just write x squared plus 3x must be equal to the numerical value of that same rectangular field. These two, they represent the same thing, only that this is in terms of x. This one, it is numerically given, but they are equal. So by equating these, we have formed an equation which you can solve for x. And by solving for x, we can determine the length, because length is given as 3 plus x. That is it. So the question is, how do you solve for x? What is that you have now? A quadratic equation. The highest power is what? Is 2. You have formed a quadratic equation. Remember the format of the quadratic equation. Ax squared plus bx plus c must be equal to 0. One side must be equal to 0. So get rid of that. Take it to the other side of the equation so that we remain with a 0 there. So x squared plus 3x, the 70 is going to change to a negative. So that's equal to 0. Solve using your factorization method. The coefficient of x squared is 1, so this enables us to just use x and x here. X times x will be x squared. All right, so the question is, all right, so that's by what? By factorization. We're going to solve by factorization. All right, so that is considering the factors of the constant negative 70, which will add up to positive 3. Factors, products of what? Of this, negative 70. Two numbers that you can multiply, you get negative 70. There are so many, guys. Negative 10 and 7. 10 and negative 7. There are so many numbers. 2 and negative 35, negative 35 and 2. Negative 2 and positive 35. There are so many. But of these factors, we just need the one. When you add, you must obtain positive 3x. And this is happening here. If you add these two, 10 plus minus 7 is positive 3x. So this is positive 10 minus 7, just like that. Let us solve for what? For x. So remember the 0 product, each bracket must be equal to 0. X plus 10 equal to 0, or x minus 7 equal to 0. So x will be equal to what? 10 to the other side is going to be a negative. Change the sign. X negative 7 to the other side is going to change to a positive, or simply subtract 10, subtract 10. Here add 7, add 7. So these are the possible values of x. Using x as a positive, because we've got a negative there. So we're going to take the positive value. And remember, we are talking about x representing the breadth. And remember that the breadth is less than what? Is less than the length. The length is bigger than what? Is bigger than the breadth. So meaning to say the breadth is supposed to be what? Is supposed to be 7. The breadth is equal to 7 meters. What about the length? If the breadth is 7, what about the length? So it means our length is the one, the 10 meters that is here. If you add 7 plus, remember, okay, let me take it from here so that you also understand. Ignore this one. Just ignore it. Take it from here so that you understand what I'm saying. Length is equal to 3 plus x. Remember, the question is about the length, and it is what? 3 plus x. So if we have this, x as what? As 7, it's going to be 3 plus 7, and that's our length. 3 plus 7 is what? Is 10. So therefore, we have got our length, which is what? 10 meters. So that is the question that we are given. The length is what? 10 meters. So if you take this, it must exactly match to what you're given. Remember, they said the area is 70. The length is 10. The breadth, we say the breadth is 7. So if you multiply 10 times 7 is what? 70. Area, length times breadth, 10 times 7. You can see that it is exactly what you're given. So it must also make sense with the question that you're given. It must make sense, the value of x. So for x being a negative, you can ignore it. Take the positive value, then you use from that value of x that you have taken. All right. If our x is 7, representing the breadth, then the length is going to be 3 plus x, which is 3 plus 7. Then you've got what? 10. Just like that. So let's revise as many questions as we can. It is important that you work more questions where you do not understand. The comment section is there. Let us communicate and see how we can help each other.